Can everyone hear me? Whoa. All right, cool. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. If you can't hear me, if I step away too much, just like wave. Thank you, Chris. Okay, cool. I am CTO for Blockade Games. My name is Ben Heidorn. So we just got into Techstars and we have to practice our pitch, so I know I'm going to screw it up, but I'll go ahead and try it on all of you right now. Blockade Games is a game studio, next generation game studio, built on blockchain with the intention of bringing blockchain games to mainstream audiences. There, close enough. All right, first I want to thank Georgios and the Loom team. We've been working very closely with them for the last year to kind of build everything that we're doing right now, so huge thanks to them. All right, so the talk is called Launching Plasma Bears. In this talk, I'm going to give a very high-level overview of how we built a game on the Loom network that is now available, and it's fully available for mainstream players. I'm going to go into the details of like what our technical stack looks like, and then I'm going to show you a demonstration of the transfer gateway in action, and that's currently in testing. We're going to push it up to alpha and hopefully production next week. Okay, so real quick, we've been building games for the past year now, and as we build them out, we're testing new hypotheses. So we want to make the best user experience for players, and what we're finding, of course, is that mainstream gamers just don't want to interact with crypto. Point blank. They don't want to own their own wallets, they don't want to sign transactions, they don't want to pay for everything they do, and they don't want to wait for transactions to confirm. But if you kind of lure them in and they get interested, then they start to care. They start to think, yeah, I want to own my own wallets. Yeah, I want to start to go down the rabbit hole. So what we were doing is, as we were making all these different games, we were building parts of a prototype for a flagship title called Neon District. And we needed to kind of test everything in the stack, every theory that we had, which I'll go into shortly. Find bugs, rebuild it, rinse and repeat. So we decided to build a game called Plasma Bears. We started building this in November of last year. We released it end of January, so it was 3-month crunch time. And we built out this entire game. So what is Plasma Bears? Like I said, it's an ongoing proof of concept. It's super easy for people to sign up. You just log in with your email and your password, or a Facebook or a single sign-on as of next week. And then the premise is that you start with a beginner bear and spare parts, you go on adventures, you earn loot, you make more bears. It's pretty simple. So I'll go ahead and show you real quick. No. I hope that this is the main site, right? Okay, we're good. All right, awesome. So this is Plasma Bears. Super simple, really cute. We have like this lead bear here on the front. You can see the latest bears that were created by the community. Because we just got in Techstars, we made this mintable, claimable bear that you can get. So if we take a look at the most recently created bear number 4421, Bear Arena, that's a great name. So this bear is completely unique, and it's composed of 7 different parts that you can collect as you're playing through the game. So each part has all of these attributes that make it entirely unique NFTs. So you have the different types of the parts that you have. You have emotions, 1 of 10, that when you combine the bear together, the dominant emotion is your bear's feeling. So here we have kind of a sad bear. He's like, crap, life is woe, you know? And so then the parts also have different attributes attached to them, like strength, agility, and they're represented by, you can't really read it, but they're represented by different fictional characters, like Conan the Barbarian and Spider-Man. It's pretty awesome. And they come with different rarities as well. So what ends up happening is this magical thing where you go and you craft your bear. I'm logged in, so I'm gonna go ahead and craft a bear right now. You can actually just go ahead and create a completely unique NFT that never before existed and probably never will exist again. And it has all the attributes for all the parts that you collected in the game. So now what's happening right now is we just submitted the transaction to the Loom sidechain, already done. We got the result back. Go to my bears, boom, bear. Super trippy game, it's a lot of fun. Y'all should check it out, plasmabears.com. All right, so moving on. So what do we use? So our stack is built entirely in Node.js. We have multiple different monitors that are working and multiple different processes that keep the game in sync. We have a web front end in React. We're using our Postgres database for the game, as well as a caching system to keep everything up to date with the blockchain. And then, of course, we're using the Loom sidechain, where all the minting takes place. So some of the choices that we made architecturally, we wanted to separate the server state from the blockchain state. We did not want to have the entire game on chain, and we also wanted to make sure that the separation of concerns was such that when anything happens to your bears, anything that you can do with it is completely separate and remedied either on the blockchain or in the game. So on the blockchain, the crafting, the editing, equipping things, decomposing your bears, minting them, transferring them, all of that is completely done on chain. And what the game does is it listens for the events and it updates the cache. And then from there, you can then go ahead and play the game. And everything on the site, the server, that's the adventures you can go on. You can temporarily buff your bear, make it stronger when it goes on adventures. So yeah, that was the basic premise there. Basically, if I were to put it pretty directly, our game, Plasma Bears, the website, is just a giant block explorer, a very complicated one. So what did we build? We built, underneath this very simple game is a very complex pipeline of stuff. So those animated bears that you saw, in order to make that a reality, we took an animation system from Airbnb, I think, called Lottie, and we made a full dynamic rendering system that takes in all the parts and it dynamically, on the spot, renders the bear with all the colors, the parts, the animations and everything. Then we built custom multi-asset smart contracts for the side chain. So we took the ERC 998 standard, the composition and decomposition, and then we kind of took ideas from 1155, which is notably Engine's contract. That's for multi-minting on one contract. And we put those together and we added a couple extra bonus things like equipping. We made a rule set of bitmaps so you can decide what you can and can't equip on chain. Then, of course, we are managing users' private keys because, of course, this is a blockchain game where the private keys stored. We have an off-site encrypted management and storage system. And then, of course, we had the Transfer Gateway Oracle server. I'm going to show you that in a minute here. And because our contracts are so complicated on the Loom sidechain, we made an ERC 721 compatible contract that exists on the Ethereum net. So that way, when you transfer your tokens back to and from, you can then do anything that you could normally do with the 721 on the mainnet. So, okay, traction. What does everything I just said add up to? Basically, people are playing the game, period. In 3 weeks, we did a stealth launch. We just put some tweets out at 11 o'clock at night on a Monday, hey, the game's live, go play it. And in that time, we managed to get 1,100 users coming to play, all through word of mouth. We have over 100,000 NFTs minted on the sidechain already in 3 weeks, 44,000 plus bears crafted, and the average is around 4,000 NFTs a day. We have around 350 unique users per day. A few days ago when we released the Techstars bear, we got several thousand. So pretty cool. And then the biggest thing, the most important thing for us, for the promise of free-to-play blockchain gaming in the future, this game has a greater than 40% retention rate, next day retention rate, and that is the figure that you need to make a hit game, period. You hit this metric, you have a game that catches on, that goes viral, that climbs up. So real quick, some upcoming features. We're going to add more textures, more quests and adventures. We're going to be opening up a peer-to-peer marketplace, and we're going to open up cross-chain asset transfers to Ethereum. We're also going to deploy to Loom's Plasma chain. So I'll show you that shortly. So real quick, before we go into the whole demonstration of the transfer gateway, the contract on sidechain is very game logic heavy. It's we're right at the limit of what you can deploy in an EVM sidechain. So we're not going to deploy that on Ethereum. Instead, what we have is an ERC 721, and it's extended to include all of the attributes needed to rebuild the bear or parts or whatever comes to the sidechain. And it allows third parties to add their own metadata into the game. So if you imagine you have a game token, you can take it off to another game like CryptoKitties, and then they'll add their own metadata to it. When it comes back into Plasma Bears, we're going to see that, and we'll be like, hey, you did something awesome. We're going to mint you a special CryptoKitties part. There's a lot of fun things you can do with that. All right, Transfer Gateway in action. Whoops, did not expect that. There we go. All right, cool. So I videotaped this because it's a little bit faster to do that. So here we have our, so I'm doing this on the local host for testing, but the Ethereum net that we're using is Linkabee, and we're using a remote Loom chain, the one that hosts our alpha. So bear Aldrin right here. We're going to go head up to MetaMask, grab the address that we have. And using this super simple functionality, oh yeah, I've already put the contract in so you can see whether or not you have plasma bears. This thing down here says transfer to Ethereum. That's all you do. Just drop the address in there, just send the NFT, done. It goes to the gateway. When you refresh the page, you're going to see that it's currently on the Ethereum net. Now, because it's still testing, we're going to update the UI. It's going to look a lot nicer. This right here is our Oracle, and unfortunately, you can't really read everything that's on there, but we have two different monitors running at the same time, one for Loom and one for the mainnet. So here we saw the cross-chain transfer. We go over to Rinkeby, and you're going to actually see that Plasma Bear appear in the game. So real quick, you can see we've added our Plasma Bear here, and then some time passed, I cut some stuff out. You can actually see the transaction come through. And now, the coolest part, as soon as that happens, you can walk on over to OpenSea, and you can drop your bear right in and start putting it up to the marketplace. So here, what we did was put the contract address and then / the NFT ID. That's all you need. OpenSea automatically pulls in all that data, and now Bear Aldrin is available for sale. So you can see all the data that makes the bear special and unique is all represented here. So now I did a couple other things here. I wanted to test around, make sure it was not a fluke. I sent to a different address. So now from here, we're actually going to now deposit back to the gateway. So for the demonstration, for the sake of practicality, we just put the contract right on Etherscan. We're going to deposit to the gateway. It's going to be using the NFT ID, the bear ID, and then the address on the Loom sidechain that you want to go to. So here, now we're going to wait and watch. So on the right-hand side, you see the transaction went through. A few seconds later, in real life, it's about 15 seconds later, you see the full transaction come in, and it releases the bear on the side chain. So if we check it out again, Plasma Bear is no longer in our wallet. Go back to Bear Aldrin, refresh the page, boom, bear is mine now. And then I can go back out, send them out on ventures, and play the game. So what's the road ahead? Right now, we built a centralized game with decentralizable assets. The top priority right now is a mainstream user experience. We want to prioritize minimal latency, minimal steps. We don't want our user to think, we just want them to play. The distinctions that we made for that, we have central game server, controlled game chain, centralized Oracle. But the compromise is that we allow users to still take their assets off the game chain when they attain value. And that way they can own them forever. There are still ways to go ahead and make it better. We can make more decentralized games without compromising user experience for the people who care. So the immediate improvements are allow users to be the custodians of their own keys. Simple, everybody wants that. But the tokens themselves, when they're available out on the mainnet, we want people to still be able to interpret that data to rebuild the bears and all the parts. So we can store the token information in immutable peer-to-peer storage like IPFS. And then finally, we can shift over to the plasma security model like what Giorgio's just presented, instead of using gateways. So real quick, take everything that I just told you and put it into a game that mainstream players really want to play. I'm going to show you right now the first time that we have ever shown this video. It is a real, I just got it this morning, keep in mind. So it's hot off the presses. And enjoy the first sneak peek gameplay demo of Neon District. Oh no, the sound is off. Hold on, I know what I do wrong. Yeah, I gotta check the sound over here. Oh man, it always happens, right? There always has to be a technical issue. Here we go. All right, let's try this. Say again? Okay. Oh, wait, here we go. All right. Now let's hope it doesn't get too loud. Or maybe I hope it actually gets super loud and you all are like, whoa. All right, let's see if this works. Now we're talking. Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. Do we have any questions? Oh, do you mind coming up to the mic, please? Thanks. I'm deaf. You know how it is. I'm not kidding. I really am.
Sure. So the Loom chain, your side chain, is getting data from the main chain, correct?
During the transfer gateway process, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so are you ever like when you do the gameplay or anything, are there ever any like state changes that happen on the Loom chain that you push up to the main chain?
No, because the bear is no longer available. So like when you transfer it out, it is no longer accessible on the side chain. It belongs purely on the main chain, and then you transfer it around, you can buy it, sell it, whatever. When it comes back in, that's when you have the ability to do things like edit it, decompose it, change out the parts and all of that.
Okay, so when you take it off the main chain, the asset you take off is locked up, and when you bring it back on, it's the exact same thing?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Looks great.
Those 100,000 assets you have on the sidechain, like how big is that sidechain in terms
How
of
big
data?
is the sidechain?
Yeah.
It uses a lot of data. I actually, last week, had to boost up the storage to 500 gigabytes just to make sure that we would like have enough for a year. Like in theory, it used about half a gig per day. But Loom is actually working right now to do some pruning and whatnot to help keep that down.
Okay, so like how would the same sort of structure, I guess, compare to like building it all centralized? Is it a lot bigger because you've built it in the decentralized assets, or preparing to like transfer?
So I think, honestly, George, this might be better to answer this. So my interpretation of it is that every block has to be recorded, so you have all the information. So I think it's largely not so much the storage of the contract, but just that we're running a game chain for like a month or two, and then just generating all this data, metadata mostly. Cool. All right, thanks, guys.